Hi there, welcome to BSF Recovery Team. It was late afternoon Memorial Weekend when we got a call on the radio from Campground Gate saying that there was a camper down there wondering if a wrecker could go pick up his Bronco somewhere out on the Blue Trail. He didn't know exactly where it was at. All he could tell us is it was a big sand hill somewhere after Noid.
You can get in, they can put it up.
It sounded to me like that might be a hill that we call Digger, so the recovery team headed that way to see if we could find the Bronco. We were set out to find a blue Ford Bronco. Looks like that's the one. I think we'll grab it and get it out of here.
Don't pinch her legs.
We weren't told exactly what the problem with the Bronco was, but since it had all its wheels on it, I suspected either a steering or a transmission problem. So we backed up the wrecker and hooked on to tow it out.
Chuck, we're probably going to go out that way so you can come through.
I was just going to sit in the wrecker and let Mike and Jeff hook up the Bronco, but then I remembered that the Bronco has the big C-arms connecting to the front axle, and with the coil spring buckets, it doesn't leave room for the J-hooks. So I decided to get out and make sure that they were using the other end of the chain.
Hi.
Tired. I'm having fun.
Did you take some happy pills?
No.
I was gonna say.
Tired.
With the Bronco now on the hook, we were ready to make our way back to camp. Because most of the trail was uphill from here, I told Mike I wanted him in front of me with the Suburban, but he didn't know exactly which way to go, so we had to give him some direction before we headed out. We had to make sure he knew which shortcuts to take.
up there. That's so jumpy. Oh, maybe I will. A very big branch. I just see more like a log.
A twig?
It looks smaller from way back. When I saw it from way back, but then I wasn't. Ooh, I would have get out.
I should cut that.
More branches.
Oh, now they're branches now. Twigs, but where after that? Oh, one branch. This guy just got up and left his truck.
I'm gonna catch up and ride with you though. personal.
Get that outside
Your wheel or his wheel? Oh yeah, hang on, stop.
As we were coming out of the woods with the Bronco, Jeff pointed out to me a little problem with my outside dual. My question is to you, how many of you noticed it before we did? And when do you think we damaged it? Gotta remember, we've been towing all day. At this point in time, I wasn't too worried about the egg on the side of the tire. I'm running duals, and even if the outside one goes flat, when you're out in the woods at low speeds, it's not really that much of a problem. The inside one will hold the truck up. But I will tell you that when it did finally go flat, and we had to change it, I found out that the inside cord structure of the tire on the sidewall was all tore up. It had about a 6-inch rip in the cords. The funny thing is, the outside rubber on the tire still didn't have a rip or a tear in it.
That tire's screwed.
Which one?
Eric's back one, see the bulge sticking out?
I showed him.
Out of the woods now, onto the service road, making our way back to camp. We didn't know exactly where in camp the Bronco needed to go, so we were hoping that the owner was still at Campground Gate.
I don't have a clue where we're taking that one.
We're dropping in after the game has
And sure enough, somebody was waiting at Campground Gate to show us where the campsite for the Bronco was. Look at that, another recovery, and we didn't even hurt the doll's legs.
Hummer, can you do a hook? Are you back in camp?
Yeah, I just unhooked from this one. I can go.
Yeah, she bangs. I don't remember where it's at.
I think it's out on White, isn't it?
Red Trail.
Where on Red? Before and after?
Back by Hut 1, Hut 2, Raspberry, that area.
Yep, I remember. Okay. We'll head that way. Looks like we got another one to get off the rocks. We just dropped the drive shaft in the rear of the tow truck. Looks like that last Bronco was a little too much for it.
We broke the front U-joint in the rear drive shaft, right at the back of the transfer case. Unfortunately, we had to call the trail shack and tell them to send somebody else out for that last recovery they wanted us to do on the obstacle called She Bangs. We were lucky. It was just the U-joint that broke, and the oaks were intact, so we had it repaired by the next morning. Thanks for watching BSF Recovery Team. Keep wheeling, and maybe we'll see you out in the woods.